right, my little droogies. We have what we're gonna do now is instead of focusing on a specific Greek allegory, we're gonna combine them all together so you get to see the whole thing. You know what's going on, how the architecture work. So we're gonna begin this with the Cyclops, which is the one-eyed Jack, I guess you would call it. Let's do this. Okay, yeah. So you have the Cyclops here. Hal has one eye. One-eyed Jack. Hal has one eye, and also this is also a clue to our Minotaur allegory, but that's a different story. This is Jack Swigger. So we have all things Jack. So all things Jack is going to have Jack Swigger in it. We have the one-armed man in Star Wars. We have the one-armed man, Dr. Kimball. This is 2001. We file him into the movie The Fugitive. We have the One-Eyed Jack, The Moon. We have the One-Eyed Jack movie. We have the One-Eyed Bullseye in a dartboard. We have the One-Eyed Jack. He has one glass eye with a One-Eyed Jack in his hand, and we get the One-Eyed Jack because it's a one-eyed needle, and just like Theseus and the Magic Thread. So we're using part of the Theseus and the Magic Thread allegory in with the Cyclops. So we have Columbo Crater on the Moon. Columbo is a detective, TV detective. So we're going to have a category of fake detectives, and it begins with Sherlock Crater and Columbo Crater. And as we go through, we find out that there's more and more of these hidden TV and novel detectives that we're going to find. Um, then we have the One-Eyed Jack in this, you know, One-Eyed Jack, a movie maker, John Ford. You have Van Gogh, the one-eared man. He cuts his ear off and he gives it to his girlfriend as a gag gift. This is used as the allegorically tying the moon rock, petrified moon rock that we give to the Netherlands. It turns out to be a petrified moon. It's not a moon rock. There's no trees on the moon, so it's a petrified rock. It's a gag gift we give to the Netherlands. Van Gogh has the ear he gives to his a gag gift he gives to his girlfriend, and then we have so in Kubrick's movie we see prisoners exercising. It's a painting that he did. So he was crazy. He's a redhead. He has one ear. It just fits every metric. You have the two-eyed Jack, which is really the Jack of Hearts, but um, it's the one-eyed Jack playing card. So these are the clues to the Jacks, the Queens, the Kings, the Aces. You have the one-eyed Jade Rabbit. This is the Moon. You have Jackson Marbles. You have the one-eyed card player. There's a lot of one-eyed clues. This one's great. The Apollo. These are hand-drawn, original hand-drawn Apollo lunar landing mission profile, and it's a dick with two balls. It's one-eyed Jack. And you have the jokes that have been made. False girlfriend is a one-legged woman. You know. So the proto ape in 2001. One Eye is killed by Moonwatcher, and as he does it, there's another proto apes called One Ear watching, which is a clue to the Van Gogh thing. So we have all these things, and then of course we have the one bullseye AE azimuthal equidistant map. So we have the AE35 unit, which is a gyro, which is not failing, but does not detect any rotation. So it's a great clue allegorically. So we have the one bullseye. It's a one-eye Jack. Every one of these is a one-eye Jack. So this would be the Cyclops category, with a little bit of overlap here with the one-eyed needle, for Theseus and the Magic Thread. So let's go from that to Theseus and the Magic Thread. So we have Theseus and the Magic Thread. And this is Danny. He's in the maze and he walks backwards in his own footprints to fool the Minotaur. And this is Kubrick telling us in interviews. He's literally in interviews talking about Jack represents the Minotaur, Danny represents Theseus and the Magic Thread. So Theseus and the Magic Thread is it's a half man, half bull, and you have to defeat it. And the problem with defeating it is, even if you defeat it, you have to get out of the labyrinth alive. So you need a way to navigate the labyrinth, and that's what we're using on the little Magic Thread. Now, if we go back to the other one, we see this one-eyed needle and one-eyed thread, which runs right through this. And so Danny is Theseus, Jack is the Minotaur. It's in a you're in a maze. There's magic threads. You need to follow them. So this is a combination of the Cyclops, which has one eye, but it's the half man, half bull. So we have a man and a bull and the horns. So this is what the Minotaur looks like, and this is a statue of Theseus and the Minotaur slaying the Minotaur. So these are clues of you're going to be looking for this. So this is a killer's kiss. This movie right here by Kubrick, and so he's telling you it's going to be a Minotaur production. And then you have the various. You have this maze, then you have a digital maze, and then you have the real maze, and then you have two different maps on the real maze that don't match, and it's just bizarre. You're in this maze, and you need to figure what's going on. You're going to be following these magic threads. Okay, let's look at the reoccurring theme of the Battle of the Titans. Now, the Battle of the Titans, we're going to do a recap because not everybody's familiar with the Battle of the Titans. And we have Kronos, which is Saturn, and we have Rhea, which is his wife, and she has the baby Jupiter. Zeus are synonyms. Zeus and Jupiter are the same thing. So they become the Olympian. Uh, they become the main protagonists against the Titans, who are the original rulers. And so we have the what the hell is it now? Zeus and the Olympians. The leader of the Titans, Kronos, that's Saturn, was the prophecy. His son was overthrow him, so he ate all his children. So he ate all his children: Hestia, Hades, Hera, Poseidon, Demeter. However, Zeus was spared by his mother. So Poseidon is Neptune. So all these Greek gods have multiple names. So Poseidon becomes Neptune, Zeus becomes Jupiter. So when we go to the Apollo missions, we see Apollo, and we see the eagle. So Jupiter slash Zeus and his eagle and his lightning bolts. And you have Saturn V rocket, which is the same thing as Kronos, Saturn, and he eats all his children. So let's do this graphically. So we go to this collage, and we have the Donner Party here. They end up eating their children. We have the Titanic and the Olympic. These are the two factions. You have the Titans and the Olympians fighting each other. You have the Saturn planet in Arthur C. Clarke's book. It's Jupiter in Stanley Kubrick's movie. So he changes this to tell you that you're talking about the Battle of the Titans. So in The Killing, he shoots red lightning. So we're talking about Jupiter, his lightning, and his eagle. Here's a picture, here's a sculpture of Jupiter, and he has his eagle. So this is Jupiter and his mighty eagle. He battles the Titan, Saturn. So this is Olympian, this is a Titan. You have Saturn eats all his children at birth because he knows they're going to overthrow him, so he has to eat. So this is the Alive book in Stephen King's. Not in the book The Shining, he mentions the Alive book, the soccer team that had to eat their own teammates. In Kubrick's movie, they mention the Donner Party. It's another reference to cannibalism. This cannibalism references all over the movies. In Full Metal Jacket, you have, I don't care, I will motivate you, pal, even if it short dicks every cannibal on the Congo. So there's always a cannibal theme. Now you go to Back to the Future, and there are two scenes with Neptune and his trident. Here's Neptune and his trident. It's the Neptune under the sea dance. And there's a scene that's cut from the movie where he's locked in a telephone booth with Neptune's trident. They stick it in the door. And we have Woody Strode with Neptune's trident, the first black professional football player, UCLA teammate with Jackie Robinson. He's a high jumper. Okay, so we have a high jumper with a Neptune. We have Admiral Byrd's ship, the Mount Olympus. So where do the Titans live? They live on Mount Olympus. So we have the Olympic and the Titanic, Jupiter and Saturn, the Mount Olympus, the home of the Titans. Jupiter, his lightning, his eagle. Also, we have the lightning. In Back to the Future, you have the lightning tower. Lightning hits the clock. So this would be Jupiter's lightning hitting Kronos slash Saturn's clock. And so we have Pegasus. This is all Jupiter. This is all Neptune. So Neptune's under the sea dance. Neptune's trident. Neptune's horse, the father of all horses, Pegasus. So Saturn has rings. So the boxing rings. You have the ring of the bell and the ring that they fight in. So this is a clue to the rings of Saturn. You have Jupiter, his lightning, his eagle, and you have the Stovington Eagles and the Adler, which is eagle in German, typewriter, and it goes on and on. Of course, Apollo is a theater, and we see theater curtains in Barry Nelson's office in The Shining. And Atlas is another Titan, or another Olympian. So you have the Atlas missile, the Atlas of the world, the Atlas god. So we have the Titanic and the Olympic. Okay, they were switched, and one was sunk. So they're bipolar opposites. One ship floats, one sinks to the ocean. Their names are switched. The Olympic is really on the bottom of the ocean. The Titanic never sank. It actually was repainted and fought in World War II. So we have the Mercury missions. So we have Gus Grissom and the Molly Brown capsule. This is a clue to the Titanic, because Molly Brown was the woman who survived. So in Gus Grissom's capsule, the Liberty Bell sinks. The next capsule he gets for the Mercury program is the Molly Brown, which is a direct reference to the Titanic disaster, which is really the Olympic disaster. And then we have the Mercury and how much is in the flu shot, and this is the moon shots, and we all shine on. And if Saturn's eating all his children at birth, it's a very good god to use for eugenics, because they're killing your children at birth. Basically, they're born, they're injected, they're done. And the repeating themes of Greek and Roman mythology, we have the Corona flushing queens. Corona is the place we see the Unisphere first. So we get to see the video phone here for the first time, and this is the video phone that links us into 2001 and Dr. Floyd and the video phone, the Bell video phone. So this is a clue to Nixon's call to the moon on the Bell video phone. So we have Battle of the Titans over and over. Every one of the gods is included, and we're given their attributes. Like Saturn ate all his children. Jupiter had lightning bolts. Saturn has rings. Jupiter has his mighty eagle. So we have the eagle has landed, and his eagle in his hand. And Helios is the god of the sun. It's Apollo. So Battle of the Titans is one of the themes in the puzzle. So anytime you see a scene where you see a Greek attribute, such as Neptune's trident, you need to take note of that. And sometimes, like I said, they're very hidden. Like this one is red lightning. I mean, how would you know that? Another one is Michael Collins, which is a moonshot. It's a whiskey. Michael Collins, the astronaut, his father is Lightning Joe Collins. So we have So we have a direct reference to a moonshot. Michael Collins is a moonshot on ice. Michael Collins on moon rocks is a moonshot. And then you have his father, Lightning Joe Collins. So Lightning Joe obviously got his name because he was serving up white lightning at the parties, and so we have the lightning, the recurrent theme of eagle, his lightning, Zeus, Jupiter. In 2001, Kubrick decides to use Jupiter, one of the moons of Jupiter. He doesn't use Saturn. In the book, Arthur C. Clarke, it's the planet Saturn. So that's weird. Why did he change it? Well, according to Kubrick, he says, "Oh, I couldn't fake the rings." He gives you the clue, right? So all the rings, the boxing rings, the wedding rings, and all the different clues to the rings You have diamond crater, ring crater on the moon. So we're looking for wedding dates and boxing rings. Like you have Tony Burton in The Shining. You have Johnny, King of Late Night, Johnny Carson. He was a boxer. So you're going to make a category of boxers and boxing and famous boxers. And that's how it works. And so this is Battle of the Titans. Also, I wanted to mention um, Kubrick does an interview, and during the interview, he tells everyone that he's read all the Greek and Roman mythology, and he was fascinated by it. And he in these interviews, like I'll give you an example here. Let's see. So here's an interview, and he's talking about how Kubrick read all the fairy tales from the Grimm brothers, the Brothers Grimm. So when we go to The Shining, and Wendy goes, "Oh, it feels like I got to leave a trail of breadcrumbs everywhere I go." So she's giving you Hansel and Gretel, another fairy tale. So you're going to use these fairy tales just like you would use the Greek allegories. And the reason I'm giving you the Greek allegories is not to tell you the puzzles. Oh, here you have the Greek allegories. You're all done now. No, it's to give you an idea of how he's weaving these particular allegories together, and he's using known examples as historic examples, like the Olympic and the Titanic were switched and the Olympic was sunk. It's a known example. It's a twin, and you're going to notice that when you look on this page, um, you're going to have a ball. You're going to have a missile. You're going to have the Mercury 7 space program. You're going to have a Mount Olympus. It's all, which is a ship, and then you're going to have the Cyclops in the Battle of the Titans. The Cyclops actually helps the Olympians battle the Titans. So, all these Greek and Roman mythology is woven through this. So we had the Minotaur, we had the Cyclops, we have the Trojan horse, and here's the Trojan horse. Let's move this out of the way. And what the hell? Okay, so we have the Trojan horse, and these are all the clues to the woods, the sawmills, the horses, and Kubrick's puzzle. And there's a lot of them, and there's probably more. I've missed probably some of them, but you come away with woods, you come away with sawmills, you come away with saws, hammers. I didn't put the John Carpenter uh, level and square clues, but you get the idea. You're creating all the constituent parts of a Trojan horse: the wood, um, and the horses, and the trees, and the saws, and that's what you're doing. You're throughout this whole thing. Like we go to Yeoman Colt, that's in the cage. Well, that directly ties into a mare on the moon. So you have a mare and a colt. You have a massif on the moon. It's one of the features. So you have mare and massif. A 3 footer. You link these things together, and then we're told to do this by the two creators, Chain and Link Crater on the moon. And these are on the hand-drawn landing maps they give us. So in this, you have Woody Strode, the first black professional football player. You have the Lincoln Logs game. You have the Log Cabin Times. You have what is the one? There's one of the hotels he gives you is a log cabin. You have Woody Woodpecker, Red Room, Silver, Shea Stadium, Horseshoe, and it goes on into other movies. Now I've included a few links into the Blues Brothers, Sapinto, and what was the other one? Back to the Future. You have the horseshoe, and it's all about the horseshoe and the horse and the horseshoe. You have Saw Blade Runner. So these are all the Buzzsaw, the Saw Blade Runner, I Can Hack It, a hacksaw, the Jack the Ripper, Ripsaw, the lightsaber saw. I don't even think I have that in here.
The lightsaber saw. No, I don't. Oh, let me add that one in. I don't even know if I have room for it. Well, put it right here. Lightsaber saw. And you're linking these things together with either a saw or a tool or a level or whatever the hell it is, a John Carpenter. And you're linking all these movies together. You're building your Trojan horse. Each little one here. At Ringo is apple. It's an apple tree. You have Clockwork Orange. It's an orange tree. You have the Clementine mission. Yeah, I'll put that down here. Clementine tree. You have, so these Willow is Ron Howard. He's right here. So all these little clues of woods and tools, and you're building the Trojan horse. And in The Shining, you have Jack has the fire axe and he's chopping through the wood, and that's what you're doing. So that's so we've covered the Trojan horse now.
Okay, now that we've gone through a bunch of the Greek allegories, let's take another look at this and see why it's so weird. Okay, and like if we go through this, we could say, okay, this is about cannibalism. This is about the Titans and the Olympians. This is a planet which is also a Titan. This is a planet which is also Olympian. You could go through each one of these and do the Roman and Greek sync with the attribute is red lightning and the eagle. But aside from that, on a separate note, we have a one-eyed jack as a thread. We have ships are a thread. We have astronauts are a thread. We have a Titan rocket as a thread. We have a simple machine as a thread. We have a horse as a thread. This is our Trojan horse. It was a Greek attributes, his trident. And we have firsts. This whole puzzle works off first. So this is the first black professional football player ever. So when you find a person that is a first, you have to know what if it's not like the first person that wore blue shoes. It'll be something very important, and in this case, he's the first professional black football player there was. So Woody Strode, he's a wood. He has the Greek attribute Neptune's trident. Um, it's ridiculous when you see how related these things are. We have a bird, we have the eagle, we have a horse. So all the threads that you were looking for are included in these pictures. Like you have the Adler eagle. So this is a bird, but it's also a typewriter. So there's going to be a category of typewriters and computers and all kinds of things like that. Then you have spacecraft. These are just ships. These are spaceships. So we have ships that go in the ocean, ships that go in space, supposedly, and it's a bird. And that's how it's all linked together. So we have the Atlas, who's a god. He's one of the. I don't know if he's a Titan. He's either a Titan or Olympian. And it's also the Atlas of the world, which is also a blue marble, which is also a ball. So this is how they're all connected together. We have Atlas is also an ICBM, which is a missile, which is a Titan. So when you go through these, you have to note that each one of a lot of these will also be threads throughout the puzzle, and clearly missiles, ships, um, balls, birds, horses, Greek attributes, cannibalism, and one-eyed jacks like this right here, which is a TV set has two rabbit ears, one eye, so it's a one-eyed jack. And you have the Cyclops, that was a one-eyed jack, and Hal is a one-eyed jack, and One-Eyed Jack's a movie, and the mine shaft is a one-eyed jack. Your Peter, your Johnson, your um, one-eyed monster. So that's how it all works. And now you know the categories for the Greek and the Roman gods, and you can figure this out yourself, and you can understand it yourself. But also, the bigger takeaway here is when you go into another movie, So you make a giant leap from Kubrick's movie to Back to the Future, um, using the Greek gods. Saturn is the clock, god of time, and Jupiter is the protagonist. So he's the lightning. Jupiter's lightning. He's firing his lightning at the god Saturn. So it's about he's giving the battle of the Titans right there. And one photograph of the lightning hitting the clock tower. He's giving you Battle of the Titans. So you're in a completely different movie now. But you're already clued into Battle of the Titans already. You already know what this is. So you're going to be looking for the Greek attributes and all the other stuff in the movie in a completely not even a Kubrick movie. So this shows you how the language works roughly. Obviously, it will have differences, um, but this gives you a nucleus of the okay. That's how it all goes together. Okay, this is a little weird, but this is how it works. And horses is a thread, and balls are a thread. Let's take a look at the balls real quickly, because who doesn't like checking out their balls, right? Then we have, here's an example of the ball thread. So we found the Unisphere in Corona. We found the 8 ball, which is Dorian Harewood. We found baseball because it's Jackie Robinson, number 42. We got the ball protectors, the cod pieces, with the ball gags in Clockwork Orange, the croquet in The Shining in the book, and in Barry Lyndon. We have the moon as a ball. We have the blue marble. We have the overlook ball. We have the snowball fight. We have the masked ball. It's a mask. It's a masked ball is what it is. We have snowball. So these are two snowballs right here. And we have Woody Strode. This would be the first black professional football player. He forms a pair with Jackie Robinson, the first black professional baseball player. We have the ballpoint pen. Snowballing. It's snowballing. I'm telling you. As people figure out that the moon missions weren't real, like, oh my God, the moon missions, holy shit. As it goes downhill, it's gathering mass and momentum in them. And we have little Danny oh shit. We have Jupiter and the ridiculous picture, and it's a ball. Dorian Harewood, he's 8 ball. And we have basketball. There's a basketball poster in The Shining. And this is a Chicago Bull. It's the only thing I can garner from this picture is it's a Chicago Bull, and it looks like he's wears skis and has a guitar, but I don't know what that means. But I know it's another basketball, and so these are not all the balls, but this gives you an idea. All right, guys, and I broke five. We broke 500 subscribers. 500, baby, 500. So despite the new algorithms and the censorship and what other little nonsense games they're playing, um, it doesn't matter. You know, it's the truth is getting through. It's getting frightening as to people who aren't really ready to become awake or waking up, and it's frightening, but it's happening. And if you liked it, thumb it up, or better yet, subscribe, and you can learn more about this. And have a great night, guys. Carpe diem.